Bosworth Battlefield Heritage Centre hosts a reenactment annually at the end of August to commemorate the real battle in which the Yorkist King Richard III was killed. The Battle of Bosworth was the last significant battle of the War of the Roses, the civil war between the houses of York and Lancaster that extended across England in the later half of the 15th century. Fought on Monday the 22nd of August 1485, the battle was won by an alliance of Lancastrians and disaffected Yorkists. Their leader, Henry Tudor, Earl of Richmond, became the first English monarch of the Tudor dynasty by his victory and subsequent marriage to a Yorkist princess. His opponent, Richard III, the last king of the House of York, was killed during the battle, the last English monarch to die in combat. Historians consider Bosworth Field to mark the end of the Plantagenet dynasty, making it one of the defining moments of English history.
Quite short, a lot of the arrows didn't make it. But also tells us that they used up most of their arrows and didn't have an arrow, an archer with no arrows, just a stick to fight with. Play here. The Yorkists happy to stand, happy to see what's going on. Somerset bringing his men forward there. Tell Somerset he's got a blue and white cube in his hand. Moving at some speed, having to go after the archers. So the archers are making their escape. Exeter's blocked. Now also moving forward, this is a bit of safety in there. Imagine the sheer terror of being able to replace a huge bringing it back into the Lancastrians again. Let's go. Has just run away, basically. Yorkist has now got even a few of them. I hear news that Norfolk's men have relaxed the fighting from the side. Yes. No pressure at all.
This year's event was much improved from last year's, which was a lot smaller due to the pandemic. If you have not seen my video from last year, I'll leave a link in the descriptions so that you can see the improvements for yourself. The historical reenactors were all friendly and knowledgeable about the period they were portraying. Walking the camp gives you the opportunity to get hands-on with the weapons and equipment of the times. Throughout the day there were displays of falconry, battles and horsemanship. Also there were many stalls for you to browse, as well as the Heritage Centre itself.
sort of work is often referred to as the quintain. And whereas you might think the quintain is just the big spinny thing that you see on films from Hollywood, quintain actually comes from a much older word.
Don't come last.
When Romans set up their legionary camps, the fifths be judged on whether they are accurate to the targets, but also whether they can maintain their pairs. Some better than others. You'll notice. Go on, Ben. Mochen bach.
Or pair of light lances.
Oh, he dislodges one, tickles the second, and boom, tickles one off. So that's 3. So not as successful as Sir Edward's Conroy. Can we have a little round of applause of Sir Edward? By Robert, measuring the length of their spear. Size and length is important in this particular game. Oh, it's a touch for 1 point. I would like to thank them. I would like to thank our squires of the ground, my wonderful counting lady. But there are 6 people in this arena, ladies.
I'm at the end of my tether, and so on and so forth. So, as Charlie gets round to here, he's going to just demonstrate. Now, forgive me if I don't talk too much while I'm doing this. It takes a lot of concentration, and it's not a good sight, me having it wrapped around my neck, which has happened on occasion. Now, on a good day, he'll hit speeds of up to 95 miles an hour in an arena environment, and he can turn on a sixpence. Now, it's easier for me today because it's not as windy as it was yesterday, so he's not using that to his advantage, but I can actually use that to my advantage. We don't charge anything for haircuts. So I'm going to shout him in now. Do one more pass this way. Ho! Wow.
Since the first exhibitions were opened within the cowshed of the farm in September 1974, there have been several phases of development, including extensions, new galleries and temporary exhibits. In 2005, a Heritage Lottery Fund grant enabled the updating of the exhibition in the light of more recent thinking about the battlefield. This included a gallery dedicated to how the location of the battlefield had been lost to history, and how, with Heritage Lottery funding, work was underway to locate the scene of the action, which had been hotly debated for 30 years. The Bosworth Battlefield Survey, led by Dr. Glenn Ford of the Battlefields Trust, ran for 5 years, combining documentary, topographical and field research. The project aimed to piece together the landscape of 1485, including Shakespeare's famous marsh, and to locate any evidence of the battle. A metal detectoring survey of a huge area of land finally recovered a unique collection of medieval cannonballs and a scatter of small items lost by combatants in the battle. The most iconic of these is the Bosworth Boar, which was found in 2009. The battlefield survey proved that the battle was fought about a mile southwest of Ambion Hill, either side of the Fen Lane.
Do come in if you're interested.
There are so many objects on display that you could spend a lot of time exploring, and it was great to see early cannons up close, but the main draw of the day was the recreation of the battle.
immediately took him apart. So he's not one you want to upset, because he's actually very good on the battlefield, and no doubt has a plan, which hopefully doesn't include standing troops, because he's not getting them. Fathers and mothers lost their sons, sisters their brothers. So this is a solemn remembrance as well as a moment swooned by recent rains. It has controlled the battlefield and limits how the troops can move. Oxford has had to manoeuvre around it. My Lord Percy, who is behind the beer tent, is unable to commit to the field on Richard's side. Well, he either doesn't want to because he's lost all of his relatives, or he simply can't come round. The Yorkist forces wait. The Lancastrians start an attack. Archers rain shot upon each other. Gunfire roars. The smell of the soldiers, the smell of the guns is frightening. Cries of York and Lancaster are given. The Woodvilles and Tudors, they're way ahead of everybody else. They're a little bit overexcited, they feel. They lack support from my Lord Somerset and my Lord De Vere of Oxford. The first engagement starts, ladies and gentlemen. Woodvilles being repulsed. They've now got the forces of Somerset coming in. De Vere has engaged. Now, as Somerset, Woodville, Tudor, Alv, and the Oxfords engage, Brackenbury and Howard try to flank them. You can see how the lines begin to bend around. Harassing shot between the archers. More gunfire. Now the gunfire is paying the Woodvilles in. They can't expand their line in this direction until the guns are taken. And they cannot reach them, ladies and gentlemen. If they get too close, the round shot will be replaced with bag shot. Nails, flints, with the Lancastrian archers. They are overshooting. The first attack has not gone well for the forces of Tudor. Oxford will have to pull something out of his hat for this. Now you can hear the orders as they went in. Aventray to present the arms. Thrang to attack. Now you have retire in good order and retray or retreat. Oxford still engaged. As Howard and as Woodville and Somerset disengaged. Gloucester's men reforming. Grace, the King's men reforming. Sorry, just confused with this photograph. Howard and Oxford still locked in a heated exchange. Now, Brackenbury bringing his block forward into Somerset and the Tudors and the Woodvilles. They're trying to break through. Howard has ground to a halt and stopped. Oxford retires his men to regroup. The Tudors taking a pasting. Again, Brackenbury trying to lap round. The Tudors giving good account of themselves. They're heavily armoured men, thrusting forward out of the lines to try and break Brackenbury's men. The archers continue to rake shots upon each other. The handgun is popping off now and then. Lancastrian archers shortening their aim. queue, ladies and gentlemen. So, Tudor and Woodville have withdrawn, the Somersets reordering their lines with the heavies men at the front. Oxford and Howard still in that grudge match over who says what over that bit of land at the wedding. Now, as you can see, as our troops come back, they water themselves. Heat exhaustion is a big problem when you're wearing this much armour. There's some really big fights going on back there. So, Brackenbury bringing his men forwards again into a line. Stalemate now, ladies and gentlemen. But each assault, each attack, winnows away men. I can see one of the standard drops is Walter Devereux, one of the commanders that Lord Howard has, and it does appear that they've lost one of their battle line commanders. As they retreat, they're going to have to pick new sergeants again. Counter-charge by the Somersets. Nicely done, and the line slipped further down the field, ladies and gentlemen. Howard fought to a standstill, still trying to reorder his men after the loss of Devereux. Brackenbury giving trouble to Tudor and Woodville. My Lord Somerset's men fighting forward, repulsing the Brackenbury troops, holding well. But yet again, ladies and gentlemen, whatever side you're supporting, men are dying. Forces are growing smaller. Wounds are beginning to exhaustion. Even the smallest cut begins to bleed away strength. I can see Humphrey's coming. Yet again, I can see forces of Gloucester trying to overwhelm the Tudors. Oh, there's a Tudor down. Oh, and in comes some relief troops. Yes, they've got him. Go on, stick him. Sorry, I didn't get quite wrapped up. But now the two lines are retreating the lines. Rise of a York in York as they retire in good order. So I can see that Oxford and Howard are engaged again. I can see Brackenbury's other part coming forward, engaged Somerset. Just going to move further down. The battle is pushing down the hill, but also moving to one side, ladies and gentlemen. The movement backwards is compressing the fight. It's becoming a rolling melee. In fact, my Lord Oxford has given a command, I've heard, to the standard, to the standard. This means that he has told his men they should not be more than 9 foot or 3 yards from the standard. This compresses into a column, and this will allow them to counter-attack with some force. So there have been counter-attacks by Somerset and Oxford using wedge and column. Richard is losing too many men. Or did I get to call him king? I'm sorry. Henry, fearing that Oxford will be overwhelmed, has moved closer to the mire and the red lane at the bottom, which would be a good escape route. I can see his bodyguard moving. Counter-attack by the Somersets. And giving well, ladies and gentlemen. Oxford has counter-attacked the horse. We now have a melee. The British charge has been too successful, ladies and gentlemen. He is now in a mix of cavalry and infantry. This, as we explained earlier, is a most unwelcome position to be in. So fighting between cavalry and infantry occurs. Stanley's. Richard's vulnerable. Attack! Stanley! Attack! Stanley infantry comes forward, hammering Richard upwards into the mire. There is now an unfortunate mix of infantry and cavalry. Richard appears to have taken a wound to his backside from a spearman. He's had to dismount. His bodyguard is sacrificing itself. Sir Percival's fall is bleeding. Richard has been surrounded by a small group of men. A strike to the back of his head has stunned him. There's a knife going off the back of his helmet. They're stripping his helmet. A helmet to the back of his head. Richard is dead. Richard is dead. Gloucester is dead. Massacre them. Take Howard down. Brackenbury's dead. Thorwald's dead. Richard is being stripped. Tudor is victorious and safe. Oxford extracts his revenge for stolen lands on Howard, cutting Howard down. The young Howard is captured. No Yorkist is safe at this moment. Desperate cries of a York, and it's really desperate, I tell you. You've lost. The Tudor standard is reclaimed.
If you are interested in reenactment, Bosworth Medieval Festival is well worth visiting, though it comes with a price. Tickets cost £20 per adult and £10 per child, though there are family tickets available which will save you £5. For me, this price is too much. The event is good, but not worth the price of tickets, especially as I have been to bigger and better events which were free to enter. But this is just my opinion.